Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. Caitlyn's being used as a pawn.
Reality in the W this year, where players aren't feeling safe online or in real life.
What if Caitlin Clark was never supposed to succeed? Not because of her skills, but because the system feared her rise. She's selling out arenas, breaking records, and transforming the WNBA. But behind the applause, there's a silent effort to control her, cash in on her, and keep her in check. And now, thanks to Sue Bird, the truth is finally out. This isn't just bias, it's sabotage. Let's get into it. Let's break it all down. Sue Bird blows the whistle. Sue Bird is a name that echoes throughout the halls of women's basketball. Anegia's WNBA Bajnok, two-time Olympic gold medalist, and arguably one of the most respected players the league has ever produced. She doesn't speak unless it's necessary, but when she does, the basketball world listens. On her Bird's Eye View podcast on June 27th, Bird dropped a bombshell that stopped fans and insiders in their tracks. According to her, internal WNBA memos revealed a strategy to actively limit Caitlin Clark's exposure, not promote her, not elevate her, but control her narrative and suppress it when it didn't fit their agenda. The documents allegedly said things like, limit Clark-specific coverage unless tied to league themes. Encourage broadcasters to center team efforts, not individuals. Fan-based response becoming problematic. Monitor closely. And the most chilling of all? Consider race-based contrasts for mid-season promo strategy. Yes, you heard that right. One executive reportedly asked, can we lean into the contrast between Clark and Reese?
I'm kind of wondering if you see any similarities between them, in terms of like their competitive fire that they play.
Heck yeah.
Use race tension to drive drama. This wasn't a random idea. It was part of a full-blown campaign called Racial Arc Storyline. Sue Bird called it what it was, not controversial, not complicated, but calculated image control with a racial agenda. She didn't mince words. This isn't organic rivalry. It's engineered division. A clear double standard. Let's move from PR to the court. On May 18th, during a regular season game, Caitlin Clark missed a layup and slapped the backboard in frustration. A technical foul was issued immediately. No warning, no discussion. Now compare that to Diana Taurasi, a WNBA veteran who earlier in the season threw her warm-up jacket and shouted profanities at officials. The consequence? Nothing. Not even a warning. Side-by-side video comparisons went viral. Comment sections lit up with one question: why is Caitlin being held to a different standard? The answer came in the form of a leaked referee training memo dated May 10th. One specific instruction read, apply stricter enforcement for rookie frustration, especially with high-profile players. Translation? Clark was being watched more closely on and punished more harshly, not because of her actions, but because of her visibility. Some referees, speaking off the record, confirmed this. One stated, we were told to be tougher on rookies, particularly Clark. They didn't want her getting too comfortable. This wasn't about fairness. This was about control, about keeping a rising star in her place. The dangerous game, the most disturbing part of all this, it wasn't just about limiting Clark, it was about weaponizing her identity and the identity of Angel Reese to generate clicks, views, and dollars. On June 10th, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert praised the Clark-Reese rivalry. Nothing wrong with that. Rivalries are good for sports. But then she said, their rivalry is compelling because of their playing style and their skin tone.
Two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch.
Wait, what? Yes. The head of the WNBA made race a central element of the rivalry. On the record, leaked strategy documents showed a media plan built around racial tension, using phrases like contrast, Ice Queen, Clark, versus street smart, Reese. Frame rivalry through cultural lens, tap into social divides for engagement. This wasn't accidental. It was orchestrated. Angel Reese spoke out, saying, "I came here to hoop, not be a racial storyline." And Caitlin Clark backed her, saying, "We don't want our skin color to be the story." Sponsors like Nike and State Farm started pulling back from ad campaigns focused too heavily on the rivalry. Why? Because they didn't want to be part of a manufactured drama built on race baiting, and fans saw through it. League trust dropped 12% in just 2 weeks. The cowardly Deflection. Instead of owning up to this manipulation, the WNBA turned its attention elsewhere. The fans. Specifically Caitlin Clark's fans. They were called overzealous, toxic, and a growing concern for league culture. Rather than addressing actual racist comments online or confronting hate targeted at players like Reese, the league issued internal guidance. Players advised to limit social engagement, avoid fueling fan reactions. That's not leadership, that's deflection. Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe again spoke up. Rapinoe said, "You don't fight racism by ignoring it, you fight it by confronting it head on." Bird added, "The WNBA is built on community. Why are we abandoning that now?" The truth? Most of Clark's fans were families, first-time viewers, and young girls discovering women's basketball. Sure, every fan base has its bad apples, but instead of leading by example, the WNBA vilified the crowd that was keeping the league alive. The message to fans felt clear. Thanks for your money. Now shut up, and you'll find the truth. Let's be honest, this is all about money. On April 20th, the WNBA signed a groundbreaking $2 billion deal with ESPN and Amazon. That's 3 times larger than their last agreement. What changed? Simple. Caitlin Clark. Let's look at the numbers. Attendance nearly doubled, from 7,500 to 13,800 per game. Clark's jersey sales became the top seller league-wide. League merchandise crossed $25 million, ticket revenue up 85%. She wasn't just good for business, she was the business. But behind the scenes, league execs debated how much power to give her. A May 2nd memo titled "Safe versus Star Power" presented 2 paths. Option A, go all in on Clark, build the league around her. Option B, use conflict, contrast, and controversy to keep her influence manageable. One exec reportedly said, "She's a cash cow, but we can't let her become bigger than the league." So what did they do? They tried to walk the tightrope, profit from her fame while limiting her voice. They wanted the benefits without the consequences, but in doing so, they may have created a bigger problem than they anticipated. A league at a crossroads. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a cultural shift. A once-in-a-generation force redefining how women's sports are viewed, consumed, and talked about. She brought millions of new fans to the WNBA. She inspired young girls everywhere to pick up a basketball. She made women's hoops mainstream. But instead of embracing that rise, some within the system saw her as a threat. Why? Was it fear of change? Was it racial discomfort? Was it the idea that one player might grow too powerful, or simply jealousy? Whatever the reason, the response was tragic. Because rather than celebrate greatness, the league tried to micromanage it. Rather than elevate the moment, they tried to control the narrative. And in doing so, they turned what could have been the most exciting WNBA season in history into a story about manipulation, censorship, and broken trust. This isn't just about Caitlin. Let's be clear, this isn't just about Caitlin Clark. It's about every woman athlete who dared to rise above the system, who became bigger than the box she was put in. It's about ownership versus empowerment. It's about control versus growth. It's about whether the WNBA is ready to evolve or determined to stay small out of fear. Sue Bird said it best. This isn't just bias. This is sabotage. The ball is in the league's court now. If you believe women athletes should be celebrated, not censored, if you want a WNBA that lifts up greatness instead of silencing it, hit that like button. Let's stand with athletes like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Sue Bird, and let's build a future where talent speaks louder than agendas.